Your life was never simple. In a world where mate bonds dictate fate, you're torn between three powerful alphas, Lucian, Rowan, and Silas. Family duty pulls you toward an arranged marriage, but your heart defies control. Passions ignite and rivalries burn. Lucian's fury, Rowan's accusations, Silas's quiet claim, secrets spill, a stolen kiss caught on camera. A brutal attack that awakened your hidden power, and Peter's ruthless cover-ups. Every bond deepens, every choice cuts deeper, yet jealousy, betrayal, and danger close in. And now, one truth remains. The storm is coming, and whichever path you take will cost you everything. Chapter 1. You don't remember who moved first. One moment, Lucian's green eyes are fixed on you, the kind of stare that pins you in place, heavy with all the words he hasn't said. The next, his hand is at your jaw, his breath is warm against your lips, and the space between you collapses. His mouth crushes yours with the heat of something long starved, all sharp edges and desperation. Your fingers clutch the front of his shirt, pulling him closer even though your mind screams you should push him away. You can't think not. When his scent curls into your lungs, warm wood laced with mint, intoxicating and dangerous. His body presses into yours, his thigh between your legs, his hands sliding under the hem of your shirt, tracing the trembling line of your waist. You gasp, and the sound seems to snap him tighter around you. His teeth graze your lower lip, and you shiver. He growls low, rough, and every inch of you answers to it. You're seconds from losing yourself when his body goes rigid. His hand halts mid-motion. That look in his eyes changes, softens, hardens again. He pulls back, breathing hard, his forehead resting against yours. I can't, he mutters. But it's not rejection, it's fear. Fear of what you haven't decided. Fear of taking too much when you're still standing at the edge. Your heart is still racing when you force your voice steady. Let's pretend this never happened. The words burn on your tongue. You tear yourself from him before he can see the betrayal in your own eyes, the way your chest aches from the loss of his heat. Cold air greets you outside, but it's nothing compared to the chill in your veins. The night smells like damp earth and fading smoke as you walk toward home, trying to shake the feel of his touch from your skin. You barely see Rowan until he's standing in front of you, broad shoulders tense, his eyes dark. His nostrils flare once, twice, and then his expression changes. His scent, he says, voice tight. You've been with him. You start to speak, but nothing you say will matter. The hurt is already there, sharp as glass. It's not what you don't, he steps back, shaking his head. I get it. You made your choice. I didn't. You did, he snaps and turns away, his back rigid as he disappears into the night. You stand there for a heartbeat too long before you keep walking, the air heavier than before. By the time you reach your front door, Rowan's scent is there again inside. You push the door open and find him in your living room. But he's not alone. Alina is draped against him, one hand on his chest, lips pressing against his like she belongs there. Something in you shatters. Rowan jerks back at the sound of the door, his eyes wide. It's not, but you're already moving, words spilling like venom. Don't you dare. Don't you dare tell me it's not what it looks like. Alina straightens, smirking as if she enjoys the crack running down your chest. Rowan steps toward you, his hands up, but the anger boiling in your veins catches him off guard. You shove at his chest, and he grabs your wrists to stop you. Your bodies collide, the air charged with fury and something else neither of you can name. It's messy. Your words are sharp, his are harsher. You accuse, he deflects. She watches with that infuriating little smile, and then he kisses you. It's not gentle, it's punishing. Claiming, trying to rewrite what you saw minutes ago. You kiss him back because you hate him in this moment and because your body doesn't care. It's dangerous, too close, too much until you hear it. A faint click, the glint of movement outside the window. You freeze, he feels it. Together, you spin toward the shadow beyond the glass. Someone's filming. You both lunge for the door, but by the time you burst outside, the night has swallowed them whole. The street is silent, the air too still. Whoever it was, they're gone. You return to the doorway, your breath shallow, the weight of what just happened pressing on your chest. Your hands are shaking. Rowan reaches for you, but you step back, because it's not just fear anymore. It's the knowledge that someone out there has a piece of you, a piece you can't get back. Chapter 2. Your phone vibrates once, twice sharp and insistent, cutting through the quiet like a blade. You almost don't look. After last night, your stomach has been in knots and you've been trying to breathe around the weight of what happened, but the number isn't saved. Unknown. You open it. The breath leaves your body. It's a still frame. You, Rowan. His hands tangled in your hair, your mouth against his. The heat of it, undeniable, even frozen in time. Below it, a line of text. Send me what I want, or everyone will see this. Your fingers go numb. The phone feels heavy, slick in your palm. You scroll down and there's another image, this one wider, enough to show the shape of your body pressed into his. Your expression giving away more than you'd ever admit. You can't breathe, not here, not now. You hit call without thinking, and Lila's voice is a lifeline on the other end. What's wrong? You tell her, the words tripping over each other. She's silent for a beat, and then her tone sharpens. You need to call Peter. No? You say too fast. I can't. Elara, this isn't the time to be stubborn. He'll know what to do. Just trust me. Your pulse is in your ears as you hang up and type his name. Your thumb hovers over the green button like it might burn you. When you finally press it, he picks up on the second ring. His voice is clipped, controlled. Send it to me. You do. He doesn't waste time asking questions. It'll be gone in 5 minutes. You pace the length of your room, every second stretching until your phone chimes again. Deleted, but the relief is shallow. Peter's next words sink into your skin like ice. I'll find who did it. But you need to know someone already saw it. You don't have to wait long to learn how many. By midday, the whispers follow you down the hall. Faces turn, mouths curl. Your phone buzzes again, this time with notifications, screenshots from the school group chat. Your name, slurs, laughing emojis. You open the chat. There it is, your image, grainy but clear enough, posted by someone who thinks they're clever. Before you can react, the messages vanish. One by one, a system notification, group chat, locked by admin, Lucian. You picture his jaw clenched, the shadows under his eyes deeper, his temper already at a boil. Your phone rings. Peter. It was Mark, your classmate. The words hit like a punch. Mark, the one who sits 2 rows back, who always watches too long, laughs too loud. You barely process Peter's warning before a different name flashes on your screen. Lila. Lucian's gone to his house. You don't think, you just move. The streets blur under your feet, your breath tearing through your lungs as you run. You hear it before you see it, the dull, sick sound of fist on flesh. Lucian has Mark pinned against the side of the porch, his knuckles slick, his chest heaving. Mark's face is a mess of blood and panic, his hands weakly pushing at Lucian's arms. Lucian! Your voice breaks on his name, but he doesn't look at you. Another hit. Mark's head snaps back against the wall. You grab Lucian's arm. He shakes you off like you weigh nothing, his eyes feral, green and burning. Stop! You step between them, your hands on his chest. You'll kill him. For a second, you think he might shove you out of the way, but then his focus shifts from Mark's ruined face to your shaking hands, your breathless plea. His jaw tightens. He steps back. Mark crumples to the ground, coughing, blood dripping onto the porch. Lucian wipes his knuckles on his shirt, still glaring at the boy like he wishes you hadn't stopped him. His voice is low, dangerous. This isn't over. And then he's walking away, leaving you in the wreckage of the afternoon, your heart pounding with the knowledge that everything is unravelling faster than you can hold it together. Chapter there, the hum of the car engine fills the silence between you, low and steady. But your heartbeat is louder. Lucian's hands are firm on the wheel, knuckles pale, jaw locked so tight you can see the muscle twitch. When he finally speaks, it's not a question dressed as anything else. Do you like him? You stare out the window, pretending you don't understand. Rowan, your throat is dry. You could lie, smooth it over, give him something easier to carry, but the truth has been gnawing at you, and now it slips free before you can stop it. I like him too. The words hang in the air, heavy and irreversible. Lucian doesn't look at you. His jaw flexes once, twice, and then his breath leaves in a slow, sharp exhale. Then I'm done. It's not anger, not exactly. It's something worse. The quiet devastation of a man cutting himself out of his own story. The rest of the drive feels endless. When he pulls up outside your house, Rowan is there, leaning against the fence like he's been waiting all night. Lucian's hands tighten on the wheel. He doesn't speak to Rowan, doesn't speak to you, just shifts the car into reverse and is gone before you've even stepped out of the driveway. You watch the taillights disappear, an ache spreading from your chest outward. Inside, Rowan asks what happened, but you can't answer. Somewhere down the road, Lucian's world narrows to a blur of headlights, and the taste of your words still bitter in his mouth. He doesn't see the car until it's too late. Metal screams against metal. Glass explodes in a shower of light. By the time you hear about it, your body is already moving. Silas finds you halfway down the street, his face pale under the streetlights. Lucian, accident, hospital. You don't remember the drive, only the way your stomach knots when you pass the crash site, the skid marks cutting across the asphalt, the twisted wreck of his car still fresh in your mind, even as it vanishes behind you. At the hospital, the smell of antiseptic clings to your skin. Lucian's mother meets you at the door to his room, her eyes red but steady. She lets you in with a small nod. The steady beep of the monitor is the only sign he's still here. His face is pale, too still, the lines of him softened in a way that feels wrong. You take a step closer. What are you doing here? Miranda's voice slices through the quiet. She's at the foot of the bed, arms crossed, her glare a weapon. You shouldn't be here, she says, her tone thick with accusation. He's like this because of you. It hits harder than you expect. Maybe because a part of you believes it. You open your mouth, but nothing comes out. The air feels too heavy, too thin. You can't stay. You turn and leave, each step away from his room, making it harder to breathe. Silas is waiting in the hall. He falls into step beside you without a word, his hand brushing yours just enough to remind you that you're not alone. He drives you home, the road blurring under the wash of streetlights. The house is dark when you arrive, but there's a figure in the kitchen. Peter. He's leaning against the counter, his eyes unreadable. Your mother sits at the table, her hands wrapped around a mug she's not drinking from. Whatever this is, you know it won't be good. And after tonight, you're not sure how much more you can take. Chapter 4. Peter doesn't waste time on pleasantries. He stands in your kitchen like he owns the air, his hands shoved into his coat pockets, eyes steady in a way that makes you want to look anywhere else. The family isn't happy, he says, the words clipped, and they're taking it out on your mother. Your stomach tightens. What do you mean? He glances toward the table where she sits, her face pale, fingers wrapped around a mug of tea that's gone cold. She's paying the price for your behaviour, for the way you've been seen with him. You flinch at the unspoken name. Peter steps closer, his voice lowering like it's a warning you should already understand. You need to tone it down. Keep your head down. You've already made enough noise. You want to argue, to tell him you've done nothing wrong, but the look in his eyes says he's not here for your excuses. Don't make this harder than it has to be, he says. And then he's gone, leaving the room colder than before. The silence after his departure is heavy. Your mother still hasn't touched her tea. You want to say something, anything, but your phone buzzes in your pocket. Leela's name lights the screen. Any news? She asks the second you answer. You know she means Lucian. You tell her no. You don't tell her about Peter, or the way his words felt like a door slamming shut. By the time you hang up, exhaustion drags at your limbs. You lie down on your bed, telling yourself you'll only close your eyes for a minute. Sleep takes you fast, and with it, the dream. It's raining. The sky is black and endless. You stand among strangers in dark coats, all facing the same direction. At the front, a coffin, draped in the black. You don't need to see his face to know. Lucian. The sound of earth hitting the lid is a physical blow. You gasp awake, chest heaving, sweat cooling on your skin. The clock reads 2:17 a.m., but you're already on your feet, grabbing your coat, your keys. The hospital corridors are a blur of white and shadow. His room is too quiet when you push the door open. And then, what the hell are you doing? Miranda's voice is sharp enough to cut. She's at the other side of the bed, her eyes flashing with fury. I just wanted to see. You touched him, didn't you? She accuses, stepping closer. You made it worse. You couldn't just stay away. Her voice rises, carrying into the hall. You can feel the weight of other eyes now, older men in dark suits, women with their mouths pressed into thin lines, the elders. She's lying, you say. But the words sound small, even to you. One of the elders frowns, his gaze sliding to Lucian's still form. If her presence causes distress, He's stabilizing, the doctor interrupts from the doorway, his voice calm but firm. The monitor beeps steady again. You let out a breath you didn't realize you were holding. The relief is short-lived. A shadow fills the doorway, tall and unyielding. Damien Drake. His eyes find you, cold and deliberate. You will not set foot in this hospital again. The finality in his tone leaves no room for protest. You leave because you have to, the sterile air chasing you out into the cold night. But your chest still feels like you're standing at that grave watching the dirt fall. Chapter 5. The night air feels heavier than it should. You keep your head down, hands shoved into your pockets, replaying Damien Drake's voice in your mind, the cold finality of his words, the way they made you feel like you were already erased from Lucian's life. You're halfway home when you hear it. Footsteps, not rushed, not distant, measured, deliberate, matching yours, beat for beat. You glance over your shoulder. 2 figures. Hoods up, masks hiding their faces. The street is too empty. The house is too dark. You walk faster. So do they. The first hand catches your arm, yanking you backward into the shadow between buildings. Your shoulder slams into brick. A voice, low and mocking, cuts through the night. Pretty little Omega. The other one grabs your wrists, shoving you hard against the wall. You smell sweat, cheap liquor, and something else. Something wrong. Let go, you snap, but your voice trembles. One of them laughs. We will after we're done. It happens before you decide to move. The thing inside you, the part you keep buried, snaps its chains. Heat floods your veins, sharp and violent. Your vision narrows until all you see are their eyes behind those masks. You twist, breaking free of the one holding you, and your hand is at his throat before he can react. He chokes out a sound that's cut short when your claws tear through skin. The other tries to run, but you're already on him. A single strike, too fast for him to block. Blood spills hot across your hands, the copper scent thick in your nose. It's over in seconds. Both of them crumple to the ground, unmoving. Your breath is ragged, your hands shaking not from fear but from the fading rush of power. You reach down, tug the first mask free. The face is familiar, so is the second. Sons of 2 pack gammas. The horror sinks in slow. You stagger back, wiping your hands on your coat like you can erase what just happened. The blood doesn't care. By the time you reach home, your clothes are clean, your hair combed. No one would guess you'd killed 2 men in an alley less than an hour ago. Sleep doesn't come. Morning brings Lila to your door, her eyes wide. They found 2 bodies last night. Gamma family's sons. The seer's been called. The word seer makes your stomach drop. They'll know. They always know. You shut the door, tell her everything, every detail. She listens without interrupting, her hands fisted in her lap. You have to call Peter, she says when you're done. You shake your head. No. Yes, she cuts in. Or you're done. It takes you an hour to pick up the phone. Peter answers like he was expecting you. Tell me where, he says after you explain. By evening, the whispers in town have shifted. The official story is already circulating. 2 rogue she-wolves attacked them, and in self-defense, one of the rogues was killed. The other escaped. Your name isn't in it. Neither is the truth. Peter's message arrives just before sunset. It's done. Don't make me clean up after you again. You stare at the words until the screen goes black. The phantom scent of blood still clinging to your hands. Chapter 6. The knock on your door is sharp enough to make you freeze. You don't need to look to know it's him. Rowan stands on your porch, hands shoved into his pockets, his shoulders tense in a way that makes him look taller, broader. His eyes find yours, and there's no patience left in them. You've been avoiding me. It's not an accusation, it's a fact heavy between you. You should tell him to leave. You should close the door. Instead, you step back. Come in. The warmth of the house feels different with him in it, closer, quieter. You lean against the counter, trying to find the right words. I like you, you say, the admission tumbling out before you can stop it. But I'm not sure about anything, about what I want. He steps closer, his scent wrapping around you like a question you can't answer. Then don't decide right now. You meet his gaze, and for a moment, the tension eases. You agree not official, not defined, something in between, where you can both pretend you're not standing at the edge of something bigger. Later, your phone buzzes. Peter's name lights the screen. You're being arranged, he says, his voice flat, to the heir of the Eastern Lycan Kingdom. The words barely sink in before he continues. He doesn't believe in mates, and if you're not a virgin when the time comes, you'll lose your right to gain your wolf. You grip the phone tighter, your pulse roaring in your ears. "You're joking." "I never joke about business, he says, and hangs up. The silence after is suffocating. You don't remember moving to your bed, only lying there staring at the ceiling, the weight of someone else's choice pressing down on your chest. It's after midnight, when you hear the faint scrape of the window. Lucian's silhouette fills the frame before you can sit up. He slips inside like he's done it 100 times, his eyes finding yours in the dark. "You weren't answering me," he says, and there's a roughness to his voice that makes it sound almost like an accusation. You tell him the truth because you can't not, about Rowan, about liking them both, about how none of it makes sense. Something shifts in his expression. Not surprise, not anger, just something sharper, heavier. He moves toward you, slow but certain, until the mattress dips under his weight. His hand cups the back of your neck, his thumb brushing your jaw as if to remind you exactly who's touching you. The first kiss is all heat and frustration, his mouth moving against yours like he's trying to erase every other name from your mind. You answer with the same hunger, your fingers tangling in his shirt, pulling him closer until there's no space left. His hands roam, mapping the curve of your waist, the dip of your spine, the bare skin under your shirt. Each touch is deliberate, coaxing you toward a line you've both danced around for too long. When he presses you back into the bed, your breath hitches. His weight over you is solid, grounding, but the look in his eyes says he's as close to losing control as you are. Your legs tangle with his, the heat between you building until it's almost unbearable. His mouth leaves yours, only to trail along your jaw, down the line of your throat, his teeth grazing just enough to make your heart trip. You're right there, one breath, one movement away when he stills. His forehead drops to your shoulder, his breathing harsh. Neither of you says it, but you both know why he stops. When he pulls back, you're left with the echo of his touch and the hollow ache of something that didn't quite happen. Chapter 7. Morning light slips through the blinds, cutting across the rumpled sheets. Lucian is still half asleep beside you, one arm draped over your waist, his breath warm against your shoulder. You shift, slow and deliberate, until you can look at him. The sharp lines of his face softened in sleep, the tension that never really leaves him eased just enough to make you forget what you both are outside this room. Your hand slides down his chest, feeling the way his breathing changes under your touch. His eyes open, green and already burning, but he doesn't move to stop you. You take your time. The taste of him, the way his hand tangles in your hair, the low sound he makes that you feel all the way down your spine. It's all heat and control until he pulls you up, turning the balance between you. He makes you forget how to breathe, how to think. The world outside doesn't exist when it's his mouth on you, when your back arches and you're holding onto him like you might fall without the anchor of his hands. By the time you're dressed for school, there's a glow in your skin you can't hide. Lila notices the second she sees you. "You look different," she says, her eyes narrowing with something between suspicion and amusement. You don't answer, you just smile, and that's enough for her to roll her eyes and mutter something about "finally." Lunch is loud, the cafeteria buzzing with too many voices. You're halfway through your tray when Miranda's voice cuts through, sharp and deliberate. "Some of us know how to keep our legs closed." The table goes quiet. You set your fork down, ready to answer, when Rowan stands from across the room. He doesn't hesitate, doesn't even look at Miranda. His eyes are on you as he crosses the space, his hand sliding to the back of your neck as he leans down and kisses you. The room erupts, gasps, whispers, the clatter of trays. When he pulls back, his voice is loud enough for everyone to hear. "She's my girlfriend." There's a challenge in his tone, and he doesn't bother hiding who it's aimed at. Miranda's smile is tight, but she says nothing. After school, you barely make it to the parking lot before Rowan catches your wrist. "Get in," he says, nodding toward his car. The doors click shut, and the air between you is heavy. His hand finds your thigh, his mouth finds yours, and it's fast, too fast, how quickly you're tangled together. The seatbelt digs into your side, your breath catching as his fingers trace the line of your hip. You're both too close to the edge when he finally pulls back, his forehead resting against yours. "Not here," he says, though the look in his eyes promises it's not the end. By the time you get home, the rush has faded just enough for you to notice the message on your phone. Lucian's name, "can't come tonight." You tell yourself you don't care, that you're fine. The next message comes before you can decide if that's true. "Silas, come out with me tonight." No explanation, no details, just an invitation that feels like the start of something you're not ready to name. Chapter 8. The late evening air is still warm when you hear the low hum of an engine outside. It's not Lucian's car, too smooth, too quick, and it's not Rowan's either. You step toward the door, every part of you taut, with the strange mix of curiosity and wariness that's been living in your bones lately. When you open it, Silas is leaning against his motorcycle, like it's an extension of himself. Helmet tucked under one arm, his other hand loose in his pocket. The fading sunlight catches in his silver hair, turning the strands almost white. "Come on," he says, not even bothering with hello. You look down at yourself, bare legs under a loose skirt, hair still loose from school, and then back at him. "Where?" He just smirks. "You'll see." The helmet is heavier than you expect when he hands it to you. You hesitate for a breath before slipping it on. The faint scent of leather and his cologne wrapping around you. He swings a leg over the bike and waits until you climb on behind him, your knees brushing his hips. The engine roars to life, and then you're moving. The world narrows to the vibration under you, the wind pulling at your hair where it escapes the helmet, the heat of his back against your chest. The streetlights streak by, glowing halos in the dark. You hold on tighter without thinking, your fingers curling into the fabric of his jacket. By the time he slows, the road has given way to something quieter. The trees open into a clearing, the grass soft and dark under the half moon. He kills the engine, and the sudden silence is almost startling after the rush of speed. You pull the helmet off, shaking your hair back into place. That's when you see it, a blanket spread out over the grass, candles flickering in small glass jars, their light painting gold on the edge of the night. A wicker basket set between two plates, the faint scent of something sweet and buttery floating in the air. "You did this?" you ask, and you hate that it comes out softer than you meant. "It's just a picnic," he says, but there's a gleam in his eyes that says it's not just anything. He sits, stretching his legs out, and gestures for you to join him. The blanket is warm from the day, and you tuck your legs to the side as he opens the basket. There's bread still warm enough to steam when he breaks it, slices of cheese, strawberries glistening under candlelight. He pours wine into two mismatched glasses, passing one to you. The first sip is cool and crisp, and you can feel his gaze linger on you over the rim of his own glass. The conversation starts simple, harmless. He asks about your day. You ask about his bike. He tells you about some meaningless argument he overheard in the school parking lot. You laugh more than you expect to, the sound soft between you. Then he pulls a coin from his pocket, turning it over in his fingers before catching it in his palm. Truth or dare? You give him a look. "We're really doing this?" His mouth curves. "Unless you're scared." You take another sip of wine, holding his gaze. "Truth. What's the most trouble you've ever gotten into?" You think about it, the flicker of past moments running through your mind, before you tell him a story about sneaking into the locked pool after hours in middle school. He laughs, shaking his head. His turn. You dare him to eat a piece of bread covered in 3 slices of cheese at once. He does it easily, leaning back with a smug grin as you roll your eyes. It goes on like that for a while, silly dares. Easy truths, the kind of things that feel like stepping stones over water. And then the questions start to slow. His voice drops lower when he asks, "What's something you've never told anyone?" You hesitate, feeling the weight of the question in your chest. You give him something small but real of fear you've never put into words. When it's your turn again, you almost pick dare just to break the tension. But something in his expression makes you say, "Truth." His eyes don't leave yours. "Are you a virgin?" The question lands between you like a spark. You can't read his tone. It's not mocking, not prying, just direct. Your throat feels tight, but you nod. Yes, the shift in him is immediate. Not pity, not surprise, something heavier, sharper. Like he's just been handed a secret he didn't expect to want so much. He leans forward. Slow enough that you could pull back if you wanted to. You don't. His hand finds your jaw, the pad of his thumb brushing your cheek. The first kiss is soft, deliberate, like he's testing the shape of your mouth against his. The second is deeper, his other hand braced on the blanket beside you, pulling you closer. You taste the wine on his lips, feel the faint roughness of stubble against your skin. His scent, clean and faintly metallic from the bike ride, fills your lungs. The world narrows again, but this time it's not from speed. It's from the way his mouth moves against yours. The way the heat builds low in your stomach, the way his fingers slide back into your hair. When he finally pulls back, the air feels cooler on your skin. His eyes hold yours for a long moment, something unspoken hanging between you. The ride home is quieter. You rest your cheek lightly against his back, watching the road unwind ahead of you. Every time the bike shifts under you, you remember the way his mouth felt, the way the candles caught the light in his eyes. By the time you see your street, you still haven't decided if you're glad you said yes, or if you should have been scared to. Chapter 9. The ride back from the picnic should have been enough to let the night settle, to let the kiss fade into the background of your mind. But it doesn't. Not when the air between you still hums with the weight of what happened in the clearing, when Silas cuts the engine in front of your house. He doesn't hand you the helmet right away. Instead, he looks over his shoulder, eyes lingering on you for a moment too long. Come in for a minute. It's not a question. You follow him inside, the faint scent of him motor oil, clean soap, and something warmer fills the air as you step into his living room. There's no pretense of coffee or music. He just drops his keys on the counter and turns to you. "You keep looking at me like you want something," he says, voice low. You open your mouth, but nothing comes out. He takes a step closer. The distance between you shrinks until you can feel the heat radiating off him, see the darker shade in his eyes. "Tell me you don't," he murmurs. You can't. He catches your wrist, pulling you toward the couch, and you go without thinking. The cushion dips under your weight as he settles beside you, his thigh pressed against yours. His hand slides to the back of your neck, and then his mouth is on yours, hotter this time. Less testing, more claiming. You taste the wine you shared, the faint salt of his skin where your fingers skim under the edge of his shirt. His breath hitches when you push the fabric higher, and he pulls you into his lap, your knees bracketing his hips. It's faster now, urgent. His hands grip your waist, his mouth moving to your throat, finding the exact spot that makes your pulse jump. You cling to him, letting the heat pull you under, letting yourself forget the others, the rules, the weight of everything outside this moment. When his fingers toy with the hem of your skirt, your body answers before your mind can catch up. You shift against him, and his grip tightens. He's right there, one move away from taking it further when he suddenly stills. His breathing is rough, his forehead pressed to your collarbone. "Not tonight," he says, the words dragged out like they cost him something. You lean back to look at him. His eyes are dark, conflicted, the muscle in his jaw ticking. "Why?" he exhales, almost a laugh, but without humour. "Because if I keep going, I won't stop." You slide off his lap, the warmth fading too quickly. The room feels bigger now, emptier. He walks you to the door without touching you again, his expression unreadable. The cool night air hits your skin as you step outside, but it's not enough to quiet the mess in your head. By the time you get home, you still don't know whether to be relieved or disappointed. Chapter 10. You wake up with the echo of Silas's touch, still lingering on your skin. It's faint now. More a memory than a sensation, but it follows you all the way to school. The hallway noise wraps around you the second you step inside, slamming lockers, overlapping voices, the faint scent of too many bodies in too small a space. You're halfway to your locker when Rowan appears. He doesn't smile, doesn't even slow down. He just stops in front of you, close enough that the scent of him warm, sun-soaked skin fills your head for a beat before it's replaced by something sharper. His eyes narrow. "Who were you with last night?" The question is low, but it lands like a stone. You blink, forcing your face into something neutral. "What are you talking about?" He leans in, his nose brushing close to your hair, and inhales. His jaw tightens. "You smell like someone else." You look away, pretending to dig through your bag. "I was out. That's all." "That's all?" His voice is flat, unreadable. "Yes." The silence between you is heavier than the words you're not saying. You expect him to push, to press until you slip. Instead, he steps back, the light in his eyes shuttering. "Right, whatever you say." He walks away without looking back, and the hollow in your chest feels bigger than it should. By the time you make it to your first class, the unease has settled in like a shadow you can't shake. You feel Lucian before you see him, that familiar scent of warm wood and mint drifting through the room as he takes his seat 2 rows back. You don't look at him, but you can feel his gaze grazing your skin like static. He doesn't speak, doesn't even nod when you pass his desk. The teacher's voice cuts through the quiet shuffle of notebooks and pens. "For the upcoming project, you'll be working in pairs. I'll assign them." Your stomach dips as names are read off. Then Ilara Vance, Damien Drake. It's almost enough to make you look at him, but you don't. Not until the scrape of his chair tells you he's already turned toward you. When your eyes meet, the room feels smaller. There's no greeting, no smirk, just that steady green stare that says everything he won't. You nod once, just enough to acknowledge the inevitable. The teacher keeps talking, but you don't hear a word. All you can feel is the pulse in your throat and the unspoken question hanging in the air between you. It's the kind of memory that doesn't come all at once. Some parts arrive as sharp flashes Lucian's face, pale but set with that stubborn line you know too well. The way his hands clenched, like holding himself upright, was a battle in itself. Other parts are hazy, like the recollection is too raw to fully focus on. You didn't see everything firsthand, but you've pieced it together from the way people whispered about it afterward. Lucian wasn't supposed to be walking on his own yet. It had only been a week since the accident, a week since his car had crumpled against the guardrail, a week since you'd seen him through the haze of hospital monitors. His skin too still, too cold under your hand. His ribs were still healing, his leg fractured, and the doctor had warned him about stress on his chest. Any other patient would have stayed in bed, but Lucian wasn't any other patient. That night, the hospital halls were quiet. Most of the staff had retreated to the nurses' station or were making rounds in the upper wings. The room lights were dimmed, the kind of dim that's meant to encourage sleep. He didn't care. They say he swung his legs over the side of the bed slowly, testing his weight on the good leg first, bracing himself with one hand against the mattress. His breath came in shallow bursts, every step forward pulling at the half-healed stitches along his ribs. He had to pause twice before reaching the door, one hand pressed against the frame, knuckles white. There was no plan, not really, just the picture of you in his head, standing somewhere far away from him, maybe with someone else, maybe forgetting what it felt like when he touched you. That thought was worse than the pain. The cold hit him as soon as he stepped into the hallway. Hospital air always smelled faintly of antiseptic, but this late at night it carried something sharper, emptier. He kept his head down as he passed the nurse's station, his gait just steady enough to avoid drawing attention. The elevator was too far. He took the stairs, gripping the rails so tightly his fingers ached. He didn't make it far. Someone, a junior nurse, spotted him as he was crossing the side corridor. They say she called his name, and he froze like an animal caught in a spotlight. When she moved toward him, he took another step. But his body betrayed him, his leg gave out, and he had to catch himself against the wall. That's how they brought him back, one arm slung over the nurse's shoulders. His jaw locked, eyes burning with frustration. They said he didn't speak the whole way back to his room. You didn't know any of this until the next day. It came to you in bits and pieces, a comment from an orderly, a look from Miranda when she passed you in the hall, the way Silas's mouth twisted when you asked how Lucian was doing. He was trying to get out, Silas had said finally, to see you. The words had landed hard, heavier than they should have. You didn't know if you wanted to scream at Lucian for being reckless or thank him for caring enough to risk it. That's the thing about Lucian. He never does anything halfway, even the things he shouldn't. 2 days later, you were sitting across from Peter in a cafe that smelled faintly of cinnamon and burnt coffee. He hadn't asked you to meet him. He'd told you. His messages always came like the commands disguised as neutral statements. You'd shown up because you knew better than to ignore him. Peter didn't bother with a greeting. He sat, ordered a black coffee without looking at the menu, and fixed his gaze on you like you were already behind in some invisible game. "The arrangement is moving forward," he said. You took a sip of your drink just to give yourself a second to answer. "What arrangement?" He leaned back, tilting his head slightly, like he was disappointed you'd even asked. You and the heir of the Eastern Lycan Kingdom. It took you a heartbeat to process it, then another. "You can't be serious." "I'm always serious," he said evenly. "This alliance has been in motion for months. His family is expecting it. Your mother knows." A slow chill spread through you. "And you're telling me now?" "I'm telling you because the timeline has been moved up." He stirred his coffee once, the spoon clinking softly against the cup. "He's visiting in less than 3 months. When he does, the match will be made official." You set your cup down harder than you intended. "I'm not agreeing to this." Peter's smile didn't reach his eyes. "It's not a matter of agreeing. It's a matter of doing what's necessary for the pack." You pushed back from the table slightly, needing space, but he leaned forward, his next words quieter. "He doesn't believe in mates." Your mouth went dry. "Then why?" "Because it doesn't matter," Peter cut in. "Belief doesn't change politics. You'll marry him. And if you're not a virgin when the time comes, you will lose your right to gain your wolf." The world seemed to tilt slightly, the noise of the cafe dimming to a muffled hum. "You can't threaten me with that." "I'm not threatening you," he said, sitting back again. "I'm explaining the consequences. And if you think they won't follow through," his gaze sharpened, hard enough to cut. "Try them." You clenched your hands under the table. "And if I refuse, then you'll have nothing," he said simply. "No wolf, no standing, No protection for your mother. You think the family's anger now is bad? You haven't seen what they're capable of when they're humiliated. The mention of your mother twisted something in your chest. She'd already been caught in the crossfire of your choices. Subtle punishments, cold shoulders, the kind of quiet pressure meant to break someone from the inside out. You didn't answer him. Not because you agreed, but because you couldn't trust your voice not to crack. Peter stood, dropping a few bills on the table for his untouched coffee. Think about what I said. And don't waste time pretending you have more than one choice. You watched him leave, the bell over the cafe door chiming softly behind him. For a long time, you stayed there, your hands wrapped around the cup, the coffee inside long since gone cold. Through the window, the street bustled with people who didn't know or care that your future had just been signed away in a handful of sentences. That night, lying in bed, both memories tangled together in your mind, Lucian limping down a dark hospital corridor just to get to you, and Peter's voice telling you that your body and your choices now belonged to someone else. One felt like a chain you'd fight against, the other felt like a chain you might let close around you, just to keep from losing everything else. Sleep didn't come easily. When it did, it was filled with the sound of footsteps in a hallway and the faint, cold click of a lock sliding into place. Chapter 11. You've been putting this off for weeks, telling yourself there's always tomorrow, that maybe the right words will come if you wait long enough. But deep down, you know there's no such thing as a gentle way to do what you're about to do. By the time you reach the edge of the old library grounds, your stomach is tight with a restless, sour ache. The air carries that in-between smell of late afternoon, not quite cool yet, but with a bite under the warmth, like the season is leaning toward change. Lucian is already there. He leans against the iron railing that lines the steps, one hand resting on the cool metal, the other in his pocket. Half his face is lit by the fading gold of the sun, the other half shadowed. He doesn't move when you approach, but his eyes track you, sharp and unblinking, as if he's been studying you from the moment you came into view. You slow when you're a few steps away. Thanks for meeting me. His mouth curves not in a smile exactly, more like the ghost of one. I almost didn't. You don't believe him for a second. Lucian always comes when you call, even when he's furious. That's part of the problem. You take a breath, wrapping your arms around yourself, fingers gripping your elbows. I need to say something, and I need you to let me finish before you respond. His jaw tightens, but he gives a small nod. Go on. The words taste metallic, like you've bitten your tongue. I care about you. You know I do, but I'm not ready to choose. Not yet. A flicker moves through his eyes, but his face stays still. I'm still figuring things out, you press on. And that means I'm going to keep seeing the others. Rowan, Silas. I can't cut them out just because I want you to. He finishes for you, his voice even, almost too quiet. You nod once. It's not fair to pretend I can give you what you want right now. I can't. For a moment, neither of you speak. The air between you feels heavier with every heartbeat. Pressing down until you're certain you can hear your own pulse. Then, slowly, he says, okay, it's too easy, too smooth. You blink at him. Okay, if that's how you want it. He doesn't look away. If you get to see other people, so do I. The meaning sinks in like ice water. What? He straightens from the railing, closing a fraction of the space between you. I'm not going to sit around waiting while you figure yourself out. If you're keeping your options open, I'll do the same. You try to laugh, but the sound dies in your throat. You're saying you'd date other girls? I'm saying I'm not going to be the only one playing by rules you made. The image hits you before you can stop it. His hand in someone else's hair, his mouth against another girl's neck, the low rumble of his voice speaking the same words he's used on you. It's not a knife in your chest. It's a twist. That's different, you snap, the protest sharp and instinctive. He tilts his head, eyes narrowing just slightly. Is it? Or do you just not like the thought of me with someone who isn't you? The question lands like a blow. You open your mouth, close it again, feeling heat climb up your throat. You can't answer because you both know the truth. Lucian steps closer. You can feel the warmth of him now, the faint scent of mint and wood that always seems to wrap around you. His voice drops low enough that you have to tilt your head to catch it. You want time? Fine. But don't expect me to put my life on hold while you decide if I'm worth it. You hate that your heart trips on those last 3 words. There's no fury in him. Not like you've seen before. This isn't rage, it's something colder, the sound of someone loosening their grip, maybe for good. If that's what you need to do. Your voice falters, but you force yourself to hold his gaze. He searches your face, looking for something, a crack, a plea, a reason to stay tethered. When he doesn't find it, his mouth sets in a line you've seen before, the one that means he's already walking away in his head. "Then we're done here," he says. He turns, his boots heavy on the stone steps, and walks down toward the street without looking back. You stand frozen for several heartbeats after he's gone, the fading sunlight spilling over the empty railing where he'd been. Your hands are cold, even though the air is still warm. Finally, you move. You descend the steps slowly, each one echoing in your ears like a countdown. The street beyond is quiet, but the sound of his boots lingers in your head, playing over and over. Halfway home, you pass a shop window. Your reflection catches you off guard. You look like someone else. Someone who's just lost a hand they didn't even realize they were holding. By the time you close your front door behind you, the ache in your chest has sharpened into something restless, something you can't name. You tell yourself you wanted this, that it's better to be honest now than to pretend. But when you lie down that night, you see him with someone else. You see the way he might look at her, the way his mouth might curve into that rare, genuine smile. You see him walking away from you all over again. Sleep doesn't come for a long time. The air between you and Lucian is different now, heavier, sharper, as if the conversation earlier had left splinters you're both still bleeding from. You can feel it in the way he stands across from you, weight shifted slightly forward, jaw set tight. You've been circling each other all evening, avoiding the inevitable, until finally he breaks the silence. You know what this feels like. His voice is low, but it's the kind of low that makes every word hit harder. You swallow, not trusting yourself to answer. "It feels," he says, stepping closer, "like you've put me in a cage. You let me see what I want, you let me touch it, but you'll never actually give it to me. You're making me live through a love I can never have." The words land like blows, each one cracking through the fragile shield you've been holding up. Your throat tightens. "Lucian," he doesn't stop. "Do you know what that does to a person? To want something so badly, it's in your bones, and to know it's never going to be yours." Tears blur your vision before you can blink them away. "I'm sorry," you whisper, the words catching in your throat. "Sorry?" His mouth twists, not in anger, but in something colder. "You think that fixes it? I can't just choose you," you say, your voice breaking. "I wish it was that simple, but it's not. I care about Rowan, about Silas, cutting them out like they don't matter. Like I don't matter," he snaps, the first real edge of fury slipping into his tone. "That's not what I'm saying." You take a step toward him, desperate for him to understand. "I'm saying I'm not ready. I need time." He laughs once, bitter and humorless. "Time for what? To make sure you've sampled everything before you decide?" The tears spill over now, hot against your skin. "It's not like that. It is exactly like that." The silence that follows is suffocating. You want to close the distance between you, to touch him, to make him feel the truth of what you can't seem to explain. But his expression stops you, not the anger, but the exhaustion in it, the resignation. When he speaks again, his voice is quieter, but it cuts deeper. "You've already lost me." It feels like the floor shifts under you. Your breath stumbles, catching in your chest. "Don't say that." He doesn't move, doesn't blink. It's the truth. You take another step forward, but this time he steps back. The space between you is more than just physical. Now it's a wall, solid and cold. "Lucian, please." He shakes his head once. "No. I'm done begging for something you were never going to give me." You stand frozen as he turns and walks away, his back straight, his stride steady. You want to call after him, but the words catch and die before they leave your lips. When the door closes behind him, the quiet is deafening. You press your palms to your eyes, trying to block out the last thing he said, but it echoes in your head anyway. "You've already lost me." Chapter 12. The walk home feels longer than it should. Every step is heavy, like you're carrying the weight of his last words in your bones. "You've already lost me." They replay in your head over and over, the tone, the finality, the way his eyes had gone cold. You keep seeing him turn away, each step taking him further until you couldn't reach him even if you'd run. By the time you reach your front door, your throat is raw from holding back too much words, tears, the ache that feels too big for your chest. The house is quiet. You drop your bag by the couch and sink into it, staring at the blank space on the wall like it might give you answers. Your phone buzzes. One message, then another, and another. You glance down. "Rowan, where are you? We need to talk." The second buzz is Silas. "You okay?" Call me. You ignore them both, not ready to open whatever those conversations will turn into. You're still breathing through the ghost of Lucian's voice when the third notification comes. His name. We're not done. Your heart stumbles in your chest. You don't respond. The screen goes dark for a moment, and you think maybe that's it. Maybe he'll let it go. Maybe you'll have space to think. Then your phone lights up again. Not a message this time. A video call. For a heartbeat, you consider letting it ring out. But you know him. Lucian doesn't quit. If you don't answer now, he'll just show up. You swipe to accept. His face fills the screen, the dim light behind him throwing half his features into shadow. His eyes are sharp, scanning you like he's looking for proof of something. You've been avoiding me, he says, not bothering with hello. You lean back against the couch, trying to keep your voice even. I just got home. That's not what I'm talking about. The silence stretches. You can hear the faint sound of wind on his end, like he's outside somewhere. His jaw tightens. You think if you hide, this gets easier? You shake your head, though the movement feels small. I'm not hiding. Yeah, you are. He leans in closer to the camera, his gaze locking on yours. You're avoiding the truth. And we both know it. Your fingers tighten around the phone. Lucian. No, the word is sharp. We're not doing this over a call. You're going to look me in the eye when you say whatever it is you're trying to say. You hesitate, the memory of his cold tone earlier still cutting into you. I don't care what you think right now, he interrupts, his voice low, deliberate. We're meeting. Tonight. The command in his tone is the same as it's always been, the one that makes it sound less like a request and more like gravity pulling you where he wants you. Before you can answer, the call ends. You're left staring at your own reflection in the darkened screen, your pulse still uneven. You tell yourself you should ignore him, that seeing him now, with the wound between you still raw, will only make it worse. But you already know you're going to go. The party noise drifts in through your open window, laughter, music, the occasional burst of shouting from the street below. You're not part of it, but the energy hums faintly against your walls, like the air itself is restless. You've been pacing your room since Lucian's call ended, telling yourself you're not going to see him tonight, that you'll let the ache in your chest dull, that you'll give yourself space. But when you turn toward the window, he's already there. One hand on the frame, one foot braced on the ledge, Lucian climbs in like it's the most natural thing in the world. The faint scent of his cologne cuts through the warm night air, stirring something low in your stomach. Seriously, you say, though your voice is softer than you mean it to be. I told you we'd talk, he says, closing the window behind him. The dim light from your desk lamp catches the sharp lines of his face, the shadows under his eyes. You cross your R's, but it does nothing to shield you from the way his gaze lingers slow, deliberate, travelling over you like he's cataloguing every inch. You could have used the door. This way's better. His mouth tilts in that half smile that's never really innocent. Faster. Before you can answer, he steps closer, his presence filling the space until the sound of the party outside fades to a dull hum. He's close enough now that you can feel the heat radiating from him, the faint brush of his breath against your cheek. You're still running, he murmurs. I'm not. He doesn't let you finish. His hand comes up to cup your jaw, thumb grazing the corner of your mouth. Every time we get close, you pull away. Every time you think about what you want, you get scared. Your pulse trips, your voice caught somewhere between protest and confession. That's not. He kisses you before the words can form. It's not gentle. It's not meant to be. His mouth claims yours with a hunger that makes your knees weaken, his other hand sliding to your lower back to pull you flush against him. You can still hear the muffled music outside, the occasional cheer or laugh from below, but it only makes your heart beat harder. The thought that someone could look up and see him here, in your room, touching you like this, sends a sharp thrill through you. His lips leave yours to trail along your jaw, down to the spot just under your ear, where he bites lightly before soothing the sting with his tongue. Your hands fist in his shirt, torn between pulling him closer and holding on so you don't lose your balance completely. You feel it too, he says against your skin, his voice low enough that it's almost lost in the noise outside. You swallow hard. Lucian, he pulls back just enough to look at you, his eyes dark and unyielding. Tell me to stop. You can't. He takes your silence for what it is and backs you toward the bed. His steps slow, deliberate. When the back of your legs hit the mattress, he leans in, his weight just enough to make you sit. Outside, the party swells, a cheer rising from the crowd, and the timing is almost unbearable. The The world is out there, loud and bright, while in here, everything narrows to the heat between you and him. His hand slides under the hem of your shirt, fingers grazing bare skin. They could walk in, they could hear you, he says, almost like he's daring you. Your breath catches, but you don't move away. He pushes until you're lying back, his body hovering over yours. Every movement is measured, a game of inches, each one making it harder to remember why you thought you needed distance. The sounds from outside mix with your own shallow breathing, the bass of the music syncing with the pounding of your pulse. It's reckless, it's dangerous, and you're balanced on that knife's edge between stopping this and letting it go further than it should. And he knows it. Lucian's mouth finds yours again, slower this time, but deeper, like he's reminding you exactly who he is and what he does to you. By the time he finally pulls back, you're not sure if you're relieved or disappointed. His smirk is faint, but it's there. We're not done. You know he's right. Chapter 13, the ending. The night after Lucian's visit feels stretched thin, like the air itself is holding its breath. You lie in bed long after the party noise has faded, staring at the ceiling, your skin still buzzing from where he touched you. His words, "We're not done," loop in your head like a promise and a threat at once. Morning comes too quickly. The light spilling through your curtains feels harsher than usual, your body slow to move, your mind already turning over the weight of everything pressing in from all sides. Rowan's last message sits unanswered in your phone. Silas's name glows in your recent calls list, missed 3 times. Lucian's. You can't even bring yourself to open the thread. And then there's Peter, his voice from days ago still sharp in your ears. You will marry the lichen heir, or you will lose everything. It's like standing at the center of a storm, each gust pulling you in a different direction. No matter where you turn, someone is waiting, wanting, demanding. By midday, you can't take the walls of your room anymore. You walk, no destination in mind, your steps carrying you down familiar streets until you find yourself by the edge of the woods. The air is cooler here, quieter, the wind whispering through the branches. You let yourself breathe for the first time since last night, but the stillness doesn't last. Footsteps approach from behind, steady, unhurried, and you don't have to look to know who it is. Rowan. He stops beside you, close enough that his shoulder brushes yours. You've been avoiding me. You keep your eyes on the trees. I've been thinking. About him. His tone is careful, but you can hear the tension underneath. About everything. He doesn't answer right away, then softer. I don't care what Peter or your family says. You don't have to marry someone you don't want. You wish it were that simple. The wind shifts, carrying another scent before you even hear the second set of footsteps. This one, you know even more intimately. Lucian. He emerges from the trees, his eyes locked on you, unreadable. For a heartbeat, the 3 of you just stand there. You caught in the middle, the air between them charged. Neither speaks to the other. They don't have to. Your phone buzzes in your pocket, breaking the silence. You pull it out without thinking. The name on the screen makes your stomach clench. Silas. You don't answer. Instead, you slip the phone back into your pocket, your pulse pounding. 3 sets of eyes are on you now, even if one of them isn't here. It hits you then with the weight of inevitability. You can't keep balancing like this forever. Sooner or later, you'll have to step toward one path and let the others fall away. But not tonight. Tonight, you walk away from both Rowan and Lucian, back toward the uncertain light of the town. Their gazes following you until you're out of sight. You don't look back. The choice still hangs in the air, unmade. So who you are willing to choose? Drop your comments.